Hey.
Thank you.
Welcome to WonderCon.
Thank you.
So what can you tell us about who your character is? Like for anyone who maybe hasn't seen something yet.
Yeah, well, first in a very quick nutshell, this story is set in a fictitious coastal community called Crystal Cove, which is up in the northwest Pacific Rim, think Seattle, Washington. It's a small community of families that have been familiar with each other throughout generations. It's built up around the fishing industry. My personal character is the town's nut job. But if you watch the series, you'll find out that Helen isn't a nut job. She really isn't. She's just called the town nut job because her whole shop is Helen's Antiquities, and it's just all about mermaids. It's all mermaid memorabilia, mermaid collectibles. And it's like the trailer says, every town has a story, and every story has a believer, and the believer is Helen. And our whole town operates around the whole legend and myths of mermaids. So, but my character's a believer. I believe they're very, very real, and people don't until they come to land. And then they have to come to me for answers.
Always come to you for answers.
Old Auntie Helen. I'm the old girl on the block.
As for Xander, Xander is he's a local boy, native. He grew up in Crystal Cove. His mother's been there for generations. His father has a business there, and I work with the town town fisheries. He's like this complete just blue-collar, salt-of-the-earth guy. He's just a guy's guy, which is, I find, just personally, just as an actor of color, kind of being awesome to embody, because I feel like whenever there's like fishermen or very working-class characters, they never put a brown face on it. And it's like really nice to just be like, yes, we got up and have, paychecks too, and have to work as well. So it's really nice. He's a very loyal guy, and I think trusting sometimes to a fault. I think loyalty can be a double-edged sword, and I think he has a very just human, nuanced story, especially amid all the mermaids' wildness. And his perspective, I think, is just, it's very, very, I think, relatable. I related to it a lot going through it.
I play Donna, so I'm one of the mermaids, and I am Rin's sister. So I'm captured in the first episode, and that's one of the reasons that she comes to land. And I would say Donna is very loyal, fierce, and has a bit of a different experience to what Rin goes through on land, and my interaction with humans is different.
You say she's been captured, so that leads to a negative connotation.
I think if anyone was captured or taken by someone else, or it would
against your will.
Yeah, against your will to an unfamiliar place. However you would react to that. I think it's very relatable what she goes through. Yeah, hopefully people relate to it.
I think so, because it's the whole story, the whole premise is based on the fact that the seabeds have been stripped. So these deep sea creatures have no food left, and this is happening all around the world. It's happening in New Zealand, it's happening in every coastal community. Fishermen like Xander don't have a job anymore because it's literally been stripped by big industry, and so these deep sea creatures have been forced to come closer to the surface in order to find food. But unfortunately, coming close to the surface is you're going to get caught up in a fisherman's net.
Well, we see in the
But
that's got to create curiosity amongst the mermaids and the humans as well, because it's two different cultures and species.
But what I find interesting is there's also, humans alone have several different cultures and several different perspectives and several different ways of seeing the same exact thing. So it's interesting that these merfolk come up and to see how different people with different circumstances and different perspectives interpret this and how they go about doing
That's right, and you've got two different perspectives here going on. Well, actually three, because from the lead's perspective, Ben, he's a marine biologist. So these are fascinating creatures to study. From his perspective, this this is their rent check. This is a very, very
valuable,
commodity. So he's hunting this for that reason to get, because as his father says, this is my property. You know, whoever they
you
get,
whatever you catch, you keep.
Catch it, you keep. But she's taken by the military. So therefore, you've got the third group going on here that has another different agenda.
So I think it really feeds into, I guess, otherness, and how in different societies, how different people are going to kind of interpret someone new. Like, you know, people are going to want to take advantage of this, or try, you know, eroticize it, or just do different, or welcome, or be welcoming.
And how those first interactions set the tone for how you perceive a new culture.
Exactly.
You know, like if you come and you're treated with grace, you tend to be graceful, and if you're treated with
you'd have the
silently even
yeah.
reciprocate.
You'd have the same dynamics going on if someone found an alien. If somebody fished up an alien, you'd have exactly the same dynamics.
So will we see probably some strife between the sisters when they're finally reunited again, when they have had these two completely different experiences, more than likely?
I think that's something to look forward to and watch.
Okay.
maybe.
I mean, it's just like any sister relationship. I mean, I'm here with my sister. Sometimes we get along, sometimes we fight. So.
It rocks up the whole town.
Right.
Everyone's suddenly taken out of their kind of equilibrium. Everyone
Out of their
is
comfort
challenged.
zone.
It must be nice for Helen, though. She's finally proved right. She's confident.
Vindication.
That panel when we got asked, what did you learn about most as your character, and that I felt validated, because after all of these long years, I am the old girl on the block of believing that mermaids are real. Finally now people realize that I'm not the crazy person they thought I was, and that I may have some value.
Sanders always liked you, Helen.
I know. It's like an auntie to his character. So yeah, Helen's always, it's her worst nightmare and her biggest dream come true, because I also know what this means and what could happen. So a big part of my character is to protect them.
We've seen a little bit of this series and of her incredible intelligence and the strength, and so I'm assuming that your character, we can see like how she's acting from in the tank, and how she's aware of what's happening, even though the language barrier and
True that.
And so what is it like to have to be able to have those, I guess, conversations just through acting without any words?
Oh, without any words. It's kind of freeing, because then you also don't have to worry about, you know, what accent. Yeah. You don't have to remember any lines, but you know, so it's very physical, which I love, which I really loved about it. And you know, I had to obviously watch a lot of animals and kind of pick and choose what to use, and just kind of blend it together.
Oh,
Thanks, everybody.
thank you.